Salutations, this is Crazed Kitsune, aka Khuma'zi Tayuun, and welcome to Dragoon for Dummies, level 50. In this video, I will be attempting to explain the basics you will need to know in order to play Dragoon with some measure of competency. I may not succeed, but I'm going to try. With the introduction out of the way, how does one become a Dragoon? Well, you have to start as a Lancer. In order to become Dragoon, you need to get Lancer to level 30, complete their level 30 class quest, and complete the main scenario quest, Self-Management. If you meet all three of these requirements, then the job quest that unlocks Dragoon will become available to you. Dragoon is a melee DPS whose primary stat is Strength. This will control how much damage you do with your various attacks. Sorry for the clicking, that's me muting my mic whenever my nose or throat acts up because my health is apparently not the greatest in the world. But I still want to make these videos. Anyway, with the stats and the how out of the way, let's get to actions and traits. Since Dragoon has a base class, that means that they have class actions. But let's start with your traits. At level 20, you get Enhanced Strength. This gives you 8 Strength, which increases the damage you do. And at level 40, you get Enhanced Strength 2, which gives you 16 Strength, even more damage. And that's all the traits up to level 50. Not a lot. On to the actions for Lancer. At level 1, we have True Thrust. This is a global cooldown weapon skill with a TP cost of 60. And this weapon skill has a potency of 150. At level 4, you acquire Hateful Thrust. This is a global cooldown weapon skill with a TP cost of 50 and a base potency of 100. It has a combo action of True Thrust, and so if you use True Thrust and follow it with Hateful Thrust will instead be a potency 240 attack. At level 6, you acquire Impulse Drive. This is a global cooldown weapon skill with a TP cost of 60. It delivers a potency 190 attack. At level 10, you gain Heavy Thrust, another global cooldown weapon skill. This one costs 60 TP, it has a base potency of 100, and a flank damage of 180. It will also increase the damage you deal by 15% for the next 30 seconds. You're going to be maintaining your Heavy Thrust for maximum damage. At level 15, you have a class quest which will give you Piercing Talon. This is a 15 Yalm ranged attack. It's on your global cooldown and it costs 130 TP. Its potency 120. So it's not the most powerful thing in the world, but if you can't get up close enough to stab something with your spear, you may need to huck one at it. At level 18, you acquire Life Surge. This 50-second cooldown will ensure that the next weapon skill you use is a guaranteed critical hit. The damage you deal will also be absorbed as HP up to 10% of your maximum health. Life Surge will last for 10 seconds or until you use a weapon skill. At level 26, you obtain Full Thrust. This is a global cooldown weapon skill with a TP cost of 50. Its base potency is 100, but it combos off of Hateful Thrust, becoming 440. The rest of that is for a later video, because that's for post 50. At level 30, you have one last class quest, which will give you Blood for Blood. This 80-second cooldown will increase the damage you deal by 15%, while also making you take 10% more damage for the next 20 seconds. If you know you're not going to be taking any damage for a while, you can use this to increase your damage output. Otherwise, you could get yourself killed. At level 38, you acquire Disembowel. This is a global cooldown weapon skill with a TP cost of 50 and a base potency of 100. It combos off of Impulse Drive, becoming a potency 230 attack. And if it's comboed, it will also apply a 5% piercing resistance down debuff on the enemy that lasts for 30 seconds. And lastly, at level 50, you get Chaos Thrust. This is a global cooldown weapon skill with a TP cost of 50. It has a base potency of 100, but that will go up to 150 if you use it from the rear. Chaos Thrust combos off of Disembowel, turning it into combo potency 220 or rear combo potency of 270. It will also have the combo bonus of applying a damage over time effect, potency 35, for 30 seconds. With the class actions covered, let's move on to your job skills. Upon becoming a Dragoon at level 30, you unlock Jump. This is a 30-second cooldown, 20 yalm range, jump. You will jump to your target delivering a 250 potency attack, and then return to your original position. This attack has animation lock, and you can be hit by AoEs at the point of attack, and the point of origin, as well as anything in between during your travel. And you cannot use it if you're bound in place. So, be careful when you use your jump. At level 35, you acquire Elusive Jump. This is a 60-second cooldown, which will have you perform a 15 yalm jump back, and will also remove any heavy or bind effects you have, and cut your enmity in half. This is useful for dodging some attacks, getting nasty debuffs off of you, or you just happen to rip aggro off of the tank. Well, Elusive Jump. Now the tank has aggro again because you just lost half your hate. At level 40, you acquire Doom Spike. This is a global cooldown weapon skill that has a 10 yalm range and radius with a TP cost of 120. This is a potency 130 linear attack. It will attack everything within a 10 yalm line in front of you. At level 45, you acquire Spine Shatter Dive, another 20 yalm range jump. This one has a 60-second cooldown, its potency 200, and it applies a 2-second stun. Just like Jump, you can't use this if you're bound. Unlike Jump, this does not jump you to the target and then back. You jump to the target, and as soon as you land, you can start moving. And finally, at level 50, you acquire Dragonfire Dive. One more 20 yalm range jump. This one is a 2-minute cooldown and will deliver a potency 300 AoE attack with a 5 yalm radius around your target. And you can't use it while bound. With all of that covered, let's move on to role actions. As a melee DPS, Dragoon shares their role action selection with Samurai, Monk, and Ninja. Once you have unlocked a role action slot, it appears to be permanently available to you, even if your level synced below the level you would get it at. And once you have learned a role action and stuck it in a slot, you have access to it so long as you have it on your bar. At level 8, you unlock Second Wind, which is a 2-minute cooldown. It provides you with a 500 potency self-heal, whose power is based off of your current attack power. So the more attack you have, the more you heal. At level 12, you unlock Arm's Length. This 60-second cooldown will make you immune to knockback and draw-in effects for 5 seconds. If the barrier it creates is struck, then it will apply a 20% slow for 15 seconds. I believe it will apply the slow to what struck the barrier and not you. At level 16, you unlock Leg Sweep, a 40-second cooldown that delivers a 3-second stun. If you're going to be needing lots of stuns in a fight, you may want to put this on. At level 20, you get Diversion. This 2-minute cooldown will significantly reduce the amount of hate you generate for the next 15 seconds, making it easier for a tank to hold off of you or get further ahead of you if you were getting close to them, or take things back off of you. You may not always have Elusive Jump available. At level 24, you get Invigorate, a 2-minute cooldown that will restore 400 TP on use. This is useful for prolonged fights, or when you're doing a lot of AoE, since your AoE attacks are kind of expensive. At level 32, you unlock Bloodbath. This 90-second cooldown will convert some of the physical damage you deal into healing for over the next 20 seconds. At level 36, you acquire Goad. This 3-minute cooldown is used on party members. It has a range of 30 yalms and will apply a 30-second TP refresh. You can't use it on yourself, but if you're with party members who use TP, they're probably going to appreciate it if you use this on them when they're getting low. At level 40, you unlock Feint. This 2-minute cooldown will reduce the strength and dexterity of your target by 10% for the next 10 seconds. At level 44, you get Crutch. This 90-second cooldown will remove bind and heavy effects from the targeted party member other than you. And at level 48, you get True North. This 2.5-minute cooldown will nullify all direction requirements on your weapon skills for the next 15 seconds. It obviously has its uses, but more often than not, you should just be going for your positionals rather than relying on a very long cooldown for a short burst of I don't have to care. I only have 4 role actions slotted in because the 5th slot is likely to be changed based on what's needed. Others may also be changed if it just turns out that I don't need them. But for now, these are the ones that I'm taking. With all of that covered, let's get to the demonstrations, shall we? Oh, hey look, a red mage who's queued for a duty. Well, let's see. Since hate isn't going to be an issue, let's show off diversion, and let's say the striking dummy is about to do a very nasty close-range AoE. I would like to not. That is one of the various uses for elusive jump. Now, let's see here. Just trying to remember how the rotation works. Okay. So I'm going to show off the basic rotation. It's been a very long time since I've really played Dragoon, so don't expect me to do anything impressive or flashy like weave in all of my cooldowns and jumps. I'm just showing off skills and the basics at this point. So you will start off with heavy thrust, and then you're going to do your impulse drive, disembowel, chaos thrust combo to increase the damage for your full thrust combo. Then you're going to do a couple of full thrust combos. Maybe throw a life surge on your full thrust. Now, refresh this. Let's do another full thrust, because we still have time. And now, we do chaos thrust combo again. And then we do a full thrust. Now let's refresh heavy thrust. Let's pop blood for blood. And let's do a heavy thrust combo. And I think we can fit one more heavy thrust combo in, maybe. Hey you're a weakling. Alright, so that's all of that demonstrated. Let's show off Doom Spike. Can I hit all of these guys? Doesn't look like I can catch all 4 of them with my Doom Spike. Nope, doesn't have the range. Oh well. Piercing Talon! Jump! Spine Shatter Dive! Dragonfire Dive! You obviously don't want to actually do that. You don't want to spam all of your jumps at once. But that's everything shown off, except for demonstrating the effect of Invigorate. So I'm just going to spam this until I'm low enough on TP for it to be properly visible that, yes, it does actually have an effect. There we go. Yeah, nice big chunk of TP back. So, yeah, my rotation was a little suboptimal because I was allowing Disembowel and Chaos Thrust's damage over time effects to fall off. But that's the basic idea. You use Heavy Thrust to increase your damage, then you do your debuffing Chaos Thrust combo, and then you do your damaging Full Thrust combo once or twice, and then you refresh Heavy Thrust, refresh your Chaos Thrust combo, and repeat. Sprinkling in your jumps, making sure to be careful of when you're using them. In some fights, you may want to hold on to Spine Shatter Dive and Dragonfire Dive for getting back to your target after having to run away to deal with some kind of mechanic. But that's all of the skills explained and demonstrated, if a little less than optimally. Again, it's been a while since I've played Dragoon. It's also been rather hot today, so I may be a little bit out of it. But Dragoon is pretty straightforward. Fairly simple rotation that is easy enough to maintain, as long as you're not me, apparently. Some extra damage skills, some cooldowns for boosting your damage output. But with that all said and done, I hope this video has been informative and helpful to you. If it hasn't, well, I tried. Until my next video, goodbye.